My brother laughed so loudly that people in the check-in line turned to stare. He proudly waved his first-class boarding pass and dropped my economy ticket into my hand. He smiled and said, "This is all you can handle." I stayed silent. Then I placed my military identification on the scanner. The airport agent froze. The screen suddenly flashed red. Within seconds, the entire terminal went completely silent. What happened next changed my brother forever. Family can be your biggest support or your greatest test. I learned that lesson at the airport on a morning that was supposed to be the start of a peaceful vacation. My older brother had planned the trip for months. He constantly reminded everyone that he paid for the hotel and booked the flights. Every family dinner became another chance for him to show how successful he was. Expensive watches, designer clothes, luxury cars. He wanted everyone to know he had made it. When we reached the airport, he walked ahead with confidence, while the rest of us followed behind carrying our luggage. At the airline counter, he smiled proudly. As the agent printed the boarding passes, without warning, he lifted his first-class ticket into the air like a trophy. Then he held my boarding pass between two fingers and said loudly, "Economy. Do not complain. This is all you can handle." A few people nearby laughed. I simply smiled. The truth was, I had never cared about luxury seats. I had spent years sleeping in tents in military barracks. Comfort has never defined my life. The airline agent politely asked for identification. My brother quickly handed over his passport. Everything was normal. Then it was my turn. I quietly placed my military identification on the scanner. The machine made a different sound. The agent looked at her monitor. Her expression instantly changed. She stopped typing. The screen flashed red. She immediately stood up and respectfully asked me to wait one moment. My brother laughed again. He whispered loudly enough for everyone to hear, "Looks like even the computer knows you do not belong here." I ignored him. Less than a minute later, a supervisor arrived. Then airport security. My brother suddenly looked nervous. The supervisor shook my hand and thanked me for my service. She explained that my identification had activated a protected travel status connected to an official military program. Certain security procedures required additional verification before boarding. Everything was completely routine, but the respect shown by every airport employee surprised my family. The supervisor apologized for the short delay. She then informed me that because of an available upgrade and my travel status, I would be moved to first class at no additional cost. My brother immediately stopped smiling. His face lost all color. He quietly asked the supervisor if his own seat could be changed. She politely explained that first class was now completely full. His request was denied. For the first time that day, he had nothing to say. As we walked towards security, another traveler recognized the military patch on my bag. He thanked me for serving the country. Soon, another person did the same. Even the security officers greeted me with kindness and respect. My brother walked several steps behind us in complete silence. While waiting at the departure gate, my young niece sat beside me. She asked why strangers kept thanking me. I smiled and explained that serving others is never about medals or special treatment. It is about responsibility when nobody is watching. She nodded and quietly held my hand. Those words seemed to reach her more than anything else that happened that day. When boarding, the airline staff invited military travelers and first-class passengers first. I stood up. My brother watched without saying a single word. As I walked past him, I did not smile or celebrate. I simply wished him a good flight. Inside the aircraft, I settled into my upgraded seat. A flight attendant thanked me again for my service. I looked out the window and thought about how quickly pride can disappear. Several hours later, we landed in Hawaii. The vacation became something none of us expected. My brother slowly changed during that week. He became quieter, kinder, more respectful toward hotel staff and strangers. On the final evening, he asked if we could take a walk together. For a long time, neither of us spoke. Finally, he admitted that he had spent years measuring people by money and status. Watching complete strangers show respect for service instead of wealth forced him to rethink everything. He apologized for embarrassing me at the airport. I accepted his apology because carrying anger only creates another burden. Sometimes, people do not change because they lose an argument. They change because life quietly shows them a better example. That trip ended with more than family photos. It ended with a lesson my brother never forgot. Real respect cannot be bought with a first-class ticket. It is earned through character when nobody is looking. The loudest person at the airport became the quietest before the flight even began. My brother believed money earned respect. That day, he discovered that true honor comes from humility, service, and character. Some lessons cannot be purchased. They must be lived. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe, like, share, and leave your comment below.